All right, what's up, Bulldogs? So I have for you today a guest that I brought on because I wanted to talk about. I know a lot of you guys are really interested in starting your own businesses. I do a lot of coaching with guys that either have a business or are starting up a business, and it's one of the biggest requests I get in the Bulldog Mindset membership. So I brought on Cole from Rapid Scale System, and he's going to talk about. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. We're going to talk about how to basically where to get started, how to grow a business with a small team to get a large business with a small team, and then we're going to dissect some of my what I'm doing and see if we can get some good input that I can use to help grow. So welcome, Cole.
Hey, right on. Thanks for having me, John.
So I think it's probably good to start off with your story, because I mean you have quite a story from doing an online photography business, right? And then scaling that way up, and then I think you ended up selling the business, or
yeah. It definitely had quite the story that I didn't even plan on, and that's kind of the best part about some of these things is when you kind of look back and realize how one door can lead to another and another. But it really all started with me being just entrepreneurial. I didn't know it at the time. I worked in corporate finance. This was back in 2008, just to give you guys a little timetable here. And back then we had sort of the big Great Recession that was happening, economic collapse. And I was working in corporate finance, like I said. And at lunchtime, my buddies and I, my coworkers, we would literally just talk like different business ideas, just kind of for fun, even though none of us did anything. We're just like dreaming about not working in a cubicle forever. And one day, one of my friends, Matt, he was like, hey, my wife is quitting her job so she can go be a wedding coordinator, start her own wedding coordinating business. And instantly I realized, I'm like, wow, even in a recession, people are still going to get married. Right. And weddings happen on the weekend. And here we are working during the week. So ultimately, I went back to my desk and I decided to, I was going to become a wedding photographer. I literally kind of in my head made this proclamation, went back, researched a little bit, and essentially realized there's a ton of people out there. I wouldn't be the first in San Diego, but if I could be better than most of them at even just taking care of my clients and just business, and if I was good enough on the camera, I'd probably earn some good side income. And so I did just that. And luckily I felt I enjoyed photography too, even though I had never learned it up until then, but I enjoyed learning, teaching myself that. And that was the start of really having a side hustle. So my first sort of soiree into, making some decent money on the side, we're talking $50,000 to $70,000 a year on top of my wife and my day jobs. And then it wasn't until about 3 years into that I decided to go and start teaching photography online, because like most people, we have this idea and this dream of passive income, which doesn't really exist.
Right. But I'm glad you said that.
It's the funniest thing out there. Passive income.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can keep going, John, if you want. I mean, that's obviously just the start of the story. I mean, I'll high level it by saying I started Cole's Classroom in 2013. Went a full year of just giving value, tutorials, YouTube videos, written tutorials, the whole thing. We were still doing full-time weddings. We were still doing our full-time day jobs. And the next year, I decided to actually make a course. I was like, okay, enough of this give. It's time to make some money here. And I made a course, and then I made another product and another product. And that year in 2014, we made about $135,000. Once again, still on top of the weddings and on top of day jobs. And I say that because we started to have a decent chunk of change, across it all, but we were also getting burned out. So 2015 is when it all changed it just went crazy, because we were like, we can't keep juggling all this. This is getting a little bit crazy. We decided we were going to quit our day jobs. And that was in February 2015. I went to a marketing conference in San Diego called the Traffic and Conversion Summit.
Yep.
And Ryan Dice, who now is a friend, back then I had no idea who this guy was, other than he harassed me enough on YouTube ads to get me to the event. He was just following me on every video. I was like, couldn't get away from him. And he was on stage and he was like, people come to me and they say that they have a traffic problem, but there's no such thing as a traffic problem. You just go to the traffic store and you buy it. And this traffic store is called Google or Facebook or YouTube. And I was like,
Right.
it was like such a simple concept that I never even thought of, because I was in this organic, hustle, like content first kind of thing. So long story short, I went back to my, my office, which of course was still a spare bedroom, still is, by the way, as you can see here. And I just decided that I was going to learn how to do Facebook ads and get really good at it and learn how to really convert strangers into customers. And that year, the goal for us was 250K, and we did 1.5 million.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Wow.
All because of, online is so scalable.
Yeah.
If it works for 100 people, it'll also work for 1,000. And if it works for 1,000, it can work for 10,000, and so on and so on. So we continue to double the business over the next few years until we sold it in 2019 to a software company for a really nice exit. So at a high level, there's my story.
Okay. Wow. So many things there that, I mean, that I think is so common. I see in guys that are successful building businesses, kind of similar to my story as well. I mean, you went out there, you learned a skill, and then you taught that skill, and then you made a course and charged money for it, and the content marketing. That's something interesting. I think that I'd like to dig in a little bit, because, and maybe we'll jump ahead a little bit, because that's where I've been with both of my businesses, with Simple Programmer and Bulldog Mindset. I have been pretty much organic, right? It's been like YouTube videos, blog posts, Instagram posts, now some TikTok and stuff. And it's like, I'm just on this content
hamster wheel.
Yeah. And I enjoy creating content. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like creating, videos for Bulldog Mindset and stuff like that. But it's like the scalability is so low. I can only grow as much as I can grow my audience. And so I've dipped a little bit into Facebook ads, but maybe this is the thing, because I know that, like, when I've hired probably, like, I think 4 agencies or so at different points to try and, like, okay, here, give me some ads, make it work, right? Yeah. And every time it's been like, can't even sell one copy, one membership. And so I thought it was interesting that you said that you decided to become the expert and crack the Facebook ads. Do you feel like that's what's necessary in order to be able to do this, or what's the secret sauce? Like, how do you go from the organic to the to that paid traffic?
Such a good question, with multiple sub questions and some sub answers with it. I mean, I think we have to first take a step back and understand, like, what goes wrong and why. And I think this is a little bit of my assumption with a whole lot of experience to sort of guide that. But I think essentially what happens is most of us all start the same way, which is content. And then we naturally grow an audience. Some people's audience may be only 5,000, some may be 50,000, some may be 500,000, right? And it doesn't matter. The point is we did all this heavy lifting, time intense work. We build an audience, and then we go and make products to monetize the audience.
Right.
And if we think about it and we just take a step back, we'll quickly realize that a couple things. Number one, the people that have been following you, it doesn't matter if it's months or years, there's going to be a percentage of people that are going to buy anything that you put together because they already love you.
Right.
The bulk of the people, if they're seeing you, they're used to, they already know, like, trust you. So you're already got past that hurdle. So what happens is people produce a product and then they make some sales and they're like, woohoo, like, we're making money. And then, just like you probably described, all right, I want to scale this. Time to really hit it big. And if you don't do it yourself, then suddenly you have to go and hire somebody to go and run the traffic. But the problem is in my opinion, most people fall into this organic sales plateau / slump because they never really had a cost basis other than their time.
Right.
And if there was never a cost basis, there was really no way to truly dig in, or even no real reason to truly measure the effectivity or effectiveness rather of the marketing or sales tactics that produce those sales. So if you get into this idea and this mindset of like, I'll just talk about you, right? If you're always producing content and then every video has links, sign up for the email list, go join this, here's all our products, you're going to still make some money, but you never it's harder in that organic mindset to take a step back and go, well, wait, but is there a better way? Or like, if I was just to if I'm converting, let's say 1% of the clicks, what can I do to convert 2%? Because then I just doubled my business.
Right.
Or if I can convert 2% and double there, but then also add on these other products and take my lifetime value of my customer from, let's say, $150 to $300, now I just quadrupled because I doubled on conversion and price. So ultimately, to answer your question, it's not really a matter of an agency versus a DIY. It's because running the traffic is the easy part. The hard part is having what I call the product suite that is built in a way and has the right foundation with the right business model and the right strategy that actually converts enough of the traffic to afford the ad costs. So it's more times than not, it's a problem of not having enough products, or the offer isn't converting as good or good enough. And then it begs the question, well, why is it good enough for my warm people but not my cold? Well, it's because those people, they already know you. You've already, and I like to say one last thing here is like, organic's not free. You just spend a shitload of your time. So there's people will pay you in time or money, and it'll cost you your time or money too. So just some thoughts there.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think that's kind of been where I've been arriving at as well. I finally, one of my friends finally started actually getting paid ads working. We've been, talking about it for a long time. And I think I just need to bite the bullet at some point and actually go and dive into this and get this working. But yeah, the times I've tried in the past, I've had just no conversion, but I haven't really focused on that.
Let me add some clarity here, just because in your own instance here, this is such a great lesson for everyone listening too. Is like, growing a business is as easy as getting traffic and then converting that traffic. And we know organic, you're always going to be capped on traffic, period. Right. Like the algorithms hate all of us, hate us. They do. Yeah. That's not how they make money. So they hate us. So
yeah.
But the point is when we go, regardless of free or not free traffic, we just have to get really good at converting it. Now, that is where the real magic happens, right? And that's where in its simplest form, I could be like, you just need traffic, you need to convert them better. But then of course the conversion part, that's where you start peeling the onion. And there's so many different things, like what is the best sales funnel for a membership priced at $9 a month versus one that's at $99? Is how to convert on webinars? Should I be doing email marketing? How do I improve the conversion rate of my order form, my sales page, all of these things? So I say that not to scare you, John, but to literally continue to reinforce that learning how to create and run ads will still be one component. That gets you the traffic. The magic is being able to be really good and knowing which levers to pull to optimize the conversion. And once you acknowledge and get good at that, and you need to, and here's why. The agency's job is to go and run traffic.
Yeah.
The easy part. So you can have the best agency in the world. You're still just going to be a number to them. And they're going to be like, hey, here's your ads. Your shit just isn't converting. You're like, all right, tuck your tail between your legs and go try and hope to try again tomorrow,
Yeah. See, I was trying to get agencies to develop the copy and the ads for me and all of the thing. And then I've got, existing converting sales pages, but obviously that's all optimized for warm traffic. So yeah, so I think I just need to do the heavy lifting and get that part.
Well, we'll get you fixed up in the rapid scale system, man.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in checking it out. Let's address this real quick. I think this, and I appreciate you, digital marketing humans, but I think it's worth addressing because he says here, why pay for ads? It's what fake gurus do. And then he said, you don't need an ad for milk. We already know about milk. It doesn't add up. He says, John is organic. He's real. He doesn't need these paid ads. What's your thoughts on this chain of?
Well, running ads doesn't mean that you're fake. You know, I mean, running ads, it's because YouTube and Instagram and all of them, I mean, don't quote me on this, but because I don't pay much attention to organic, but I believe, you know, on any given post on Facebook, only about 2 or 3% of your audience will ever see your stuff to begin with. So the question is really why put all your time and energy into producing great content that, yes, John is real. So why not pay to get that realness in front of more people?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think he's wrong about the ads for milk. I don't know if you've seen the Got Milk ads, but the Dairy Farmers Association runs ads together.
I forgot about those.
I remember also the pork. What is it? I don't know what their association is, but remember pork, the other white meat, right? So
yes. Right.
Even Staples run ads for brand awareness, and so yeah. But okay, so let's shift gears a little bit, and then maybe we can dissect a little bit more of what I can do, because I think that most of the people listening to this, they're probably at the stage of, I really want to start a business, right? They have that dream of passive income, which we can kind of, break down a little bit, because you can get close to passive income, but never truly passive income, right?
Yeah.
It's degrees of passivity, I guess, versus the trade-offs. Sure. But what about these guys that are starting out and they want to build something online? It's just like you, right? I mean, and I had the same thing where you're sitting in your cubicle, I had the same discussions with my coworkers from work, except they're like, yeah, no, that'll never work. You can't, you can't just get it online, but you can't just buy real estate. You can't just, whatever. But, everyone has these kind of conversations while they're, in their swivel chair at work in their cubicle. Yeah. What do they actually need to do? What are kind of what's the advice you'd give for guys that are in that position?
Yeah, I mean, the easy thing, I think most people, when you're starting out, you're either going to sell your expertise, or you're going to probably sell actual products, meaning like physical stuff, like e-commerce. I would warn anyone who wants to go the e-commerce route is to just be mindful that, if you're just selling the same kind of thing, then that there's not really much of a competitive edge. So if you have a product that you can create that is unique, then sure, go that route. But in either case, I think step one is to look at sort of your passions. Like since this isn't going to be a passive, like an easy path to riches, you do have to enjoy what you do. Right. So, I would say, look at what you're into. I play guitar, if you couldn't tell. So that's a potential. That was actually one of my first businesses when I was a youngster, teaching guitar lessons. Right. So look at what you're passionate about, but also what you're good at. But ultimately, once you're done with that and brainstorming out all those ideas, any kind of business, it really just comes down to solving problems for people. And I think most people miss that mark. Most people are like, they focus on having a revolutionary idea. Right. And most people's problems don't require revolutionary ideas. Like, I was able to make money on the side doing wedding photography. There was nothing new about it. And I just joined an existing crowd and was able to get a piece of the pie. And that piece of the pie was still, substantial, $50,000 to $60,000 extra on what we were already making. That's the difference of going on vacation wherever you want, or having to watch where you go in vacation or how many days you're off. So, but problems, you got to solve problems for people. And then the next thing is if you actually have it sort of figured out and plotted out, like, okay, I'm going to, here's what I'm going to do because I'm into this, right? Let's just make it simple. Teach something, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to teach tennis, right? Because I'm awesome at tennis. Great. There's a lot of people online that you can help. So then you got to sort of break it down and really start asking yourself, what are all the different problems that people have? And then once you're done with that, and that also will help you start building out your sort of course curriculum, by the way, then you have to kind of qualify if people actually, as I say, if they actually give a shit or not.
Mhm.
And, you know, I would just literally go on Facebook, once again, no ads needed, and just start talking to people. Literally start talking to people, having conversations within your own network at first. Put a little survey together for free on Google Forms or something, a few multiple choice questions to start to see if there's any demand there. So that's kind of how, when I look to start a new business, I sort of look at it in that way. Is this something I'm good at or passionate about? What are the problems that the prospects have that I'm going to solve for people? And then more importantly, will people pay for it? What does that business model potentially look like?
Okay. Now, what about when, some of the guys I work with, a lot of them get stuck at this phase where they've figured out the audience they want to serve, kind of the problem. They've got, let's say, a YouTube channel, but they're just doing content marketing. It's not growing very fast. A lot of times when I'm telling them we're going to do content marketing, I'm like, well, this is 2 years down the road before you're really going to start making money, because that's the realistic goal, right? It's like you got to build an audience first. You got to have an email list, like all this stuff. The magic overnight of content marketing is suddenly building a business. But what would you advise those guys? Is there a way? Can they start doing paid advertising at the beginning? Would you do that? Or would have done that at the beginning, knowing what you know now?
Oh yeah, I would never, ever, ever devote years of just putting content out there again. It's just not needed. Mm-hmm. But let me answer that differently, because this is such a good question. Like, it's needed if and only if not you, but whoever's listening, if you never want to spend a penny on ads, and you'd rather spend your time on the hamster wheel producing content, and the third is that you're happy with just getting whatever sales you can get from that audience. And now let me flip it around. The reason why I say it like that is you can fast track the audience if you just go pay for traffic. But in order to pay for the traffic, you have to have a product or service that converts good enough, meaning do people actually want it? And at the price point, is it profitable to offset the cost of the ads? And if so, as soon as you start making sales at a profit, then you can reinvest those dollars into ads and rapidly scale. So instead of waiting on this 1 to 2 years of sort of, just content, which, by the way, as you heard in my story, I did the same thing.
Right.
2013, 100%. All I did was content. And then I learned how to do ads and everything changed. So no, I wouldn't do that again. The problem though is when you commit that you're going to use ads to grow fast, it forces you to build products, and more than one product, in a way that you can actually afford the cost of the ads, which adds complexity. So
I see.
It adds complexity, but it also really depends on how the business model set up. So John, what's your membership? How much is it per month?
It is currently, actually just raised the price to $39 a month. And there's a $7 trial for the first month.
And what is this? What's it about? This is like self-development, performance kind of stuff?
Yeah, so it's Bulldog mindset. So it's personal development for men, basically masculinity training, I guess you could call it. It encompasses finance, like how to invest, how to start a business, buying real estate, fitness, getting in shape, looking good, and then dating, relationship, and then the whole mindset thing that ties together, kind of Stoic philosophy. So they pay $39 a month. They get access to a new video every week that rotates through those teaching topics, Facebook community, Discord server. What else is in there? Book summaries, and then we do a few other extra things in there. But that's basically the membership.
And how many members do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
There's about 906 right now.
Perfect. And I'm guessing you've kind of been there for a bit. How long has it taken you to get there?
It's been about Right about, I think next month it'll be 2 years
Yeah.
of starting the membership.
So the reason why, and is that the only product?
So there's also a book that's like an audio book that's sort of like it's kind of almost like a tripwire to
Yep.
get people to buy the membership that gives them an offer afterwards called How to Stop Being Lazy. And then there's various ways that it's skewed, right? So there's a yearly option for $4.99. Yep. There is a platinum membership, which is a lifetime membership for $1,000 and includes some discounts on coaching and stuff like that. And then I do one-on-one coaching as well. And I think that's pretty much the offers.
So the reason why I asked is for a couple of reasons. Number one, if somebody wanted to build a low ticket membership, right, then the amount of people required to go ahead and make that fruitful is significantly different than if somebody wanted to just go and start helping people as a coach, right?
Right.
So let's just say that once again, I'm talking to whoever's listening right now. Let's say that you back to tennis, right? Or guitar or fitness or all of these things, right? You're a coach. And you literally could go and make an awesome training. You can run ads to that training. People see how awesome you are, and then they apply to be a client, right? Now, let's pretend that you have two options. Number one is they apply to be a coaching client. And let's say that it's a 6-month commitment and it's $1,000 a month, one-on-one stuff, right?
Right.
Easy. You don't even, literally, you can like talk to them weekly like this, no tech required, and you're helping people.
Sure.
You are officially in business, and for every person that signs up, you got $6,000 of lifetime value. Right. Truly not lifetime, because they might buy more stuff later, but let's pretend that was all you ever sold them. So now, even if you kind of sucked at ads, you probably have enough, since it was a 6-month commitment. If somebody's giving you $6,000 for 6 months of your time one-on-one, you probably could make that work. And you don't need this whole year or two of content, right? You literally just matched an ad and a problem somebody had with a good video. They liked you, they applied, it's a good fit, they buy. Now, conversely, let's pretend that you have a $39 a month membership. Running the same ads. The ads cost the same amount of money. You're still paying your $1.50 or whatever cost per click.
Right.
Significantly harder to go ahead and make that profitable. So all I'm trying to articulate is the business model setup is the biggest, it is the number one thing, determination of sort of when can I run ads or not? You know what I mean? Because you could probably appreciate that, John, like scaling coaching with your platform on any given time, you could probably put out a coaching promo and you'll fill it and you'll make probably 6 figures easy.
Yeah.
But you can't just snap your fingers and get another 100 subscribers to the membership.
Sure.
You might, because you got a big platform, but most people don't. So one thing, I'll give you a little something to think about, John, for your business. What I would consider doing is, all of those great topics, fitness, all the man stuff, right? Fitness, right. And there's probably sex in there and relationships and all that kind of stuff. Mindset. Those are all potentially your own kind of signature courses, right? Mm-hmm. You could have a course on fitness. You can have a course or program, whatever you want to call it, on mindset. You can have a course on relationships, all these things. And you probably could and should do both courses and membership. And I did this at Cole's Classroom, and I'll explain why this could work really well for you to grow faster. And as you go and do ads, this to me, by the way, is the number. If I was, you see all these ads, if I were to start over today, here's what I would do. That's like the new thing I see everyone doing. Well, I am starting over, and I started a new thing after selling my company. And I'm telling you, this is the model that I'm doing, and what I would recommend even you to do or consider doing, John, And the best part is you don't have to change whatever you already have. It's not like the 900 people go away. It's just, this is maybe a path for you on new people. The biggest problem with scaling memberships is that most memberships are not very specific.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From a topic standpoint, this is a great example. Bulldog mindset. I mean, geez, it has mindset in the name, but really I'm also learning about relationships and fitness, all this, right? So you can already see where I'm going with this. Like, it's not specific. Whereas if you had the, I don't know, the 30 days to a 6-pack quick start guide or program, or, the 60-day shred program, whatever, get ripped. Those are specific. Right. So now go back to the ads and go back to thinking about what I said. What do you do when you're trying to start a business and you need to have specific pain points, problems? So it's hard to have a specific problem and pain point when you have a broad product offering like a not specific membership.
Right.
But it's no wonder why it's harder to make those convert. When you also factor in that most people don't want another monthly payment. None of us are like waking up like, oh, I can't wait to have another monthly payment. The only shit people want a monthly payment for is the brand new car lease, that's, or even the new iPhone. That's the stuff people want to pay a monthly payment for, or Spotify. Not really shit to learn, because learning is hard work. So the best of both worlds, let me take one step backwards. The best part about a membership for the person, not the business owner, is the community.
Exactly. Right? That's what I've been trying to center it around. Yeah.
Having access to you, having access to each other. It's great that it's niched down to men. That's awesome. So if we would all agree that it's better for conversions to be specific and talk about specific pain points and specific solutions. And if we also would agree that memberships people stay because of community and support and access and accountability, then wouldn't it make the most sense to go ahead and have ads and run traffic to specific courses, programs, products, and then upsell / cross-sell and get them into the membership as more of the community and accountability?
Yeah.
And if that makes sense in theory, which I think it does, then the best part about it is, instead of, let's pretend that your $39 a month, if you ran ads to it, even if it was really good ads and everything converted really good, I mean, your acquisition cost, you're probably going to pay around $120 a member, give or take. Maybe you're really good and it's like only 60 for a while until you scale. Maybe it's really bad, it's 150. Let's just pretend it's 120. Then that means that if on average it costs you $120 to get one member, they still might be profitable if they stay 6 months, right? But you're paying $120 today, but you don't break even on that until month 3.
Right. Cash flow problem.
Yeah. Right. So now think about if you're selling that same customer, a program that's, let's just say $197. And let's say that, heck, maybe even it costs the same. It probably wouldn't, because it should be easier to sell the one time versus the monthly, and it's more specific. So let's say you can get somebody in at $80. $80 to get 200 right now today. Boom, profitable. Right. Now you got 100 and whatever, $20 to go and reinvest in ads and scale. So not to go off on a total rant, but I think that would help you tremendously. And I think that is, in the old days when traffic was cheaper, you didn't necessarily need to do both. But now you kind of have to get scrappy and really rethink these things, because the ad costs have gone up so much that, you can't just rest on your laurels and run traffic to something that's underperforming and still make the math work.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. That makes a lot of sense. So I've actually been thinking about, I did a passive income masterclass that ended up being like a 3-hour masterclass on how to generate passive income, going over like all the ways and dispelling the myth of passive income. And I thought that might be a good thing to sell for like $297, and then it's in the membership for free for anyone who's a member. But then basically say, hey, if you join the membership, you get access to a bunch of other stuff as well, right, and the community and that. So yeah, I think that might be a good, because that could be profitable with ads potentially.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do the coaching thing because I mean, I've got like around 15 coaching clients right now that are $1,500 a month, but I like keeping my coaching month to month, no commitment.
Yeah.
And it's all organic right now. And I just don't want to like scale that up because I don't want to, I prefer to be on the more passive, I don't mind doing the coaching. I like helping the people I want to coach, but I don't want that to be the main business. I want the membership to be the main business. So.
I don't blame you one bit. I think if you keep membership and also sell programs one-off with specific things, that's sort of the best of both worlds. And the reason why that works too is when you're a member, most people's memberships, you don't let them download everything, right? So like they're essentially leasing that content. So even if it's the same stuff that you get as a member, people aren't going to be a member forever. So what that means is when you go and produce a program, a new one, even if they get access to that in the membership, you can still sell it to them at a discount because then they get lifetime access to it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
If they buy it, if they buy it a la carte, basically. So there's a lot of really cool things I've done that have helped me scale, and those are some of the tricks.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I've had some pretty good success at implementing. I just implemented a lifetime membership, which was good because I think the customer lifetime value with the regular membership was around $300. So it was pretty good. I had a pretty good stick rate, but the lifetime membership was $1,000. So it's
better. 1,000 better than 300.
Right, exactly. So, okay, let me see. I got a question here from Unique79. I'm going to definitely give him priority because I appreciate you, man. He's always in here moderating the chat for me. So he says, Cole, when it comes to photography, do you liaise with people overseas?
Yeah, I mean, I don't teach photography anymore, but we had a very significant worldwide base, especially Canada, UK, Australia. But that's the beauty of online, is you help people everywhere.
Yeah. Cool. So actually, let's talk a little bit about, I think it'd be cool to talk about your thoughts on passive income, because again, this is one of the things that every single one of my coaching clients, every single, member, they're like, I just want to have passive income. And, I've got passive income to various degrees, but one thing I've learned is there's no such thing as true passive income. What's kind of your thoughts on that? And how do you kind of break that down into what it actually is?
I mean, to me, the only real income that's passive is from any hands-off investment. So it doesn't matter if you're throwing it all on Bitcoin or crypto or the stock market or real estate. And obviously some real estate isn't very passive if you're the one having to manage a bunch of pain in the butt tenants. But, I think that, to me, the definition of passive should be little to no work, right? Like, so, the way that being said, there is online passive income, which would be affiliate income. So like if you have a blog that you've been spending all this time and energy on for years and it gets, I don't know, 1 million page views a month, or doesn't matter, 100,000 page views a month. And you have in your articles links to, hey, they can go buy the camera at Amazon, and you get your little 3% off of that purchase. That's passive, but that's not a needle mover kind of amount of income to get me excited. Doesn't mean I don't do it. It's just, what most people think, let's answer it this way. Most people think that online business is hands off. And, it's just not really reality. I think it was, and it could have been even before I got my start. If we were a decade ago,
right? Yeah.
Then totally, like, and the way that you could have done it back then is you literally, ad costs were so cheap 10 years ago that you could have built a product, spent some time, made a product, and literally run traffic to it. And the arbitrage, meaning the amount that you paid for that cost per click relative to how much it converted at, it's sort of like buying a stock low and selling high, same thing. And that was a possibility that literally you're just like, every day, check your ads. You're like, oh, spend more money. Hey, I made more. And unfortunately, those days are gone.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I kind of think of it like the way I look at passive income is it's it's how much money did you make over a period of time, right? And it's like some things like maybe I make a YouTube video and it makes $2,000 over 5 years. Well, that's it's not passive. It's I invested time and that time made that money. Or even if I put money into a stock, I think it's not truly passive. Like it's like I invested because it's how much time are you putting, how much money you're making. Everything kind of comes down to how much money you make per unit of time invested ultimately. But yeah, it's I think a lot of people are surprised by that. You can't just, it's even with like business like this, like with Bulldog Mindset, I can stop making videos and stop doing anything and I would make money for a long time, but it would dwindle over time, become less and less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where can what do you have going on now? Let's talk about what you've got going on right now, because I know you've got the rapid scale system, you've got it's the Cole's Classroom. Tell me a little bit about what you're kind of doing now in business.
Yeah. Well, Cole's Classroom is no longer mine, so that was what we grew and sold. So that was a fun journey, but that chapter is closed. And rapid scale system was I kind of put it together out of necessity for myself and my own, keeping my brain, moving and doing some exciting things. Cause my brain, even though I sold the company, I never quit thinking about growing business, never quit thinking about online marketing and sales strategies. So, and I kind of didn't have anywhere to deploy that. So I put Rapid Scale System together, which essentially is about a 5 or 6 hour curriculum, which essentially is everything in my brain of how to basically create a online business that actually can scale without having to rely on an organic sort of social media like hamster wheel, which essentially means to actually be able to have predictable sales and profits coming in by using advertising. So, there's kind of 5. So there's the curriculum and then there's weekly coaching with me, because there's sort of 5 phases that are required before you can scale. Most people, they just like want to scale. They're like, all right, I got a product, like, let's go, let's grow, and it's like, it doesn't work that way. So phase number 1 is essentially having the right plan and strategy, the right business model, just like what we just talked about. Like, it's all of those things like, okay, if I'm only having a membership and I'm running the ads, is that profitable? Yes, no, or is there a better plan? So that's phase 1. Phase 2 is to create your products, create your different services. Because the truth is some people only want to hire you to coach because they value their time and they're willing to pay more. Other people want only to do a DIY thing. So you essentially create this sort of product suite that I call. Phase 3 is to actually take action, because if there's one secret to success, it's you got to take action.
Right.
Period. You can have the best plan. You can have the access to the mentors, the coaches, whatever. If you aren't taking action, nothing's going to happen. Then phase 4 is actually measuring the results of those marketing and sales and really digging into the data. And John, that's probably, you right now, if I were to like consult with you, we would dig right into there to sort of get a baseline and look at your data to sort of get an idea of the metrics. And then we'd go back to sort of fine tuning and refining the planning stage, and then go back to action and implementation, right? Once the data looks good, then you scale. So Rapid Scale System covers all that, both with curriculum and then, of course, the weekly coaching, which is really focused on where the magic happens, which is how to just simply convert people who don't know you into customers. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that you want to sell somebody who doesn't need your services, but what it does mean is you could be doing you could have a great product, and with poor marketing and sales, you might only be barely scratching the surface, and you might be able to help just the people that already know, like, trust you, that'll buy no matter what you do. But then there's the whole other world of people that you could be helping that aren't convinced that they need your product. And that's the whole job of good marketing and sales. So, at Cole's Classroom, over the last 7-8 years, I guess 7 years, I mean, I've had well over 200,000 unique customers at any given time. So I had to be good at conversion. So that's what I'm helping people do.
Okay. And rapidscalesystem.com is the site.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. That definitely sounds interesting because like I said, I've gotten to the point of being stuck. I've done great building organic businesses, built some pretty big, both of these businesses have reached a pretty big point where I think most people will be happy, but I want to reach the next level. And I think that's I can only get so much organic reach, and so, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to invest into paid ads. The big problem I'm facing right now is that it's like when you're on the content treadmill, you're making all the stuff. It's like, how do you get the time to actually switch over and do the ad stuff? It's like, you don't want to do the thing, kill the thing that's making you money.
Exactly.
So
if I'm looking over here, I just realized that I could actually see the questions coming in. So that's sort of funny. Unique 79. Thank you for posting that. A more direct, that would take you to a podcast. A better link would be rapidscalesystem.com. But yeah.
Yeah, let me put that in the chat here. Rapid. And by the way, guys, this is not, there's no affiliate deal here in this particular instance. I just want to have Cole on because he's got a lot of experience in this and he has a great story, and I feel like he gives some great advice. So for me, promoting him is just because I want to promote him. There's no I would just let you know, not that I have a problem doing affiliate stuff, but just so there's full disclosure. So let me see.
There's some good questions in here. I'm just realizing.
Oh yeah, let's take a look. If you see something you want me to highlight here.
Let's see here. Let me take a quick look here because I know there's a couple. Let's see here.
Dominic says, I'm going on 2 months of being a member of Bulldog Mindset. I've yet to log.
Here's a good question.
Okay.
How to deal with, that one.
There we go. Okay, cool.
So how to deal with the uncertainty when building a business, how to know when to quit. It's such a really good question. I'm a fan of moving fast, but then also being not afraid to kill the project fast too if it's not working out. So funny story, you see behind me all the guitar stuff. The reason why all that stuff's back there is because before I decided to do Rapid Scale System, I decided it was time to go and actually repeat Cole's classroom and start teaching guitar instead of photography.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I quickly, and I had a YouTube channel, and I started, I did the whole 9, even created the LLC, did it all. I was convinced this was what I was going to do. And I started doing it. And I got 24 videos on YouTube and all that. And then I quickly realized, why the hell am I doing this when I can't stand video production? And it's like, I'm recording myself, and then it's like, I got to have good audio here. Then I got good audio here, and then video on my hands, video here. And I was just like, and then I looked at the business model. So I went back to my own, everything I've done and everything I know. And I'm like, if I'm not going to be able to scale this with ads right out of the gate, then why am I going to even do this? So for me, I killed it. Right now for you, I didn't even need to I could have come to that realization earlier. I should have, I didn't. But, earlier when I talked about come up with your idea, then talk to people, then survey people, look at the competitive landscape. That right there will let you really get a good idea of if people, that's the give a shit meter, right? Like how much do people care? Are they going to be a buyer or not? Now, if this was John and it was back when he was going to launch Bulldog Mindset, he has enough people. He had an idea of what he wanted to do. He has enough people, even on his own, not on this YouTube platform, but on his own network, to go out there and talk to his other fellow men and literally be like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Here's why I think people like us need this. Here's what I want, how I want to help people. Would you be willing to go through and answer these 5 questions in the survey? And then ask them to go and share that and post it. And then now you might have 100 responses, one of which those questions should be, would you be willing to pay for this?
Right.
So always let the data do the talking. Another way is if you in your head have already decided that you do not want to spend 2 years producing content, you want to use ads, great. That's pretty quick and easy. Have your product, start running some ads. Is it profitable? Yes, no. If not, you got to either fix the product problem or you just scrap it.
Now, what about the budget for someone starting out, right? Because what could they realistically expect? Because I know that running ads, again, even though I haven't really run a lot myself, it takes a bit before you actually fine tune things and start. You're investing some money up front, right? Because you're not just turning it on and then all of a sudden making money.
The ads will show you super fast the result if you know what you're looking for, right? Like, that's the best part of ads is like, if you have a product and you're sending people to that product, it's sort of a very quick, like, yes, no, did this work? And at what profitability? But, I think it depends. It goes back to the business model thing. The one thing I can tell anyone here, if you're looking to start a business, ask yourself, what are you trying to start? Meaning, like, what do you want that ideal lifestyle to look like? And also, like, one thing I've been working with my rapid scale students is essentially like, there's this idea that like, hey, it's okay to do things that aren't scalable right now. So like, John, if it was just starting out right now, you may have the vision of the $39 a month membership with 5,000 members or whatever the goal is. But if we were just starting out and you had this big platform of people that already you're able to help, you could, and if you're like, Cole, I just need to start making some money, man. I'd be like, cool, let's go and get you coaching some people. So that's the sort of that top down mindset and top down strategy of it's what I'm doing, right? It's like, so I was able to start off with coaching before ever running ads. I haven't run any ads for Rapid Scale yet. I'm going to,
right?
But all of the money I've already made from my first rounds of students is now going to be the budget to use to go and fund the ads.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I like that approach. That makes a lot of
sense.
Okay. Now, let's see. There was a question. David says, question for a young person trying to get into owning assets. Would a gumball / vending machine business be recommendable? I've actually done this.
Well, maybe you should answer then.
Yeah. So I don't. It's fun, but again, scalability, right? Like if I were to do this over again, I did this. I bought like 18 gumball machines. I had you pay a locator to help you locate them, to put them in places. There's a big hassle. You got to you got to make the route where you're going to collect the coins. You better not do it during rush hour, right?
Yeah.
And some machines are going to do better in some places, and so you're going to have to constantly move them. And some people are going to, say, "Why is this gumball machine here? Come pick this shit up," So it's a big hassle. I mean, your investment you'll make back quickly, but you're also dealing with a bunch of quarters, right? So I would say if I were going to do it again, I wouldn't think about building one. I would be thinking about how can I build networks of gumball and vending machine businesses, and then hire people to operate those and look at the bigger. I'm going to create not one gumball machine business, but multiple ones where it's a company that owns all these routes and various ones, because that could scale up. You could make some serious money. But one gumball machine, that even if you have 100 machines, what are you going to make? Maybe $100,000 a year. You're not going to be $1 million business.
I couldn't. And you have some serious expertise on that. That was good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there's just so much opportunity. One concept that I would encourage everyone to think about that I adopted four or so years ago is this idea of ROE. If you're a finance person, that's return on equity.
Yeah.
But instead of return on equity, I changed the E to effort. Yeah. What is the return on my effort, right? So once again, why ads? Return on effort, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I can put all my energy into making a handful of content assets that are teaching people, giving value, doing all the right things, and I can get to the point that, here's how you get to passive. The only way to get to passive is you first are super active and try a million different things. And then when the thing finally starts to work, then you get to the point that you can just put money in the machine and it spits out more out. That's passive. But so return on effort, as I would look at that idea of that gumball or vending machine business, and like, how much effort is it going to be? Like what John was saying, like, am I driving all over town? What does my week to week look like? Am I driving all over town to go and deal with these quarters, and then I'm dealing with rush hour traffic, and then for how much profit? So I always think of it like that. And yeah, I think that's a really important thing. And John, you should be thinking of that too. Like, how can you how can you maximize the return on your effort? Because there's a lot of things that you could do in your business, and there's some things that'll probably give you less net dollars, but have a significantly greater return when you look at how much effort it took to make those dollars.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely true.
Hey, let's take this question from Jazzy Michael right above, just because that's an easy one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, any experience with Kajabi? What product service do you use to create membership or course platforms? Kajabi is great. I don't use Kajabi, but I know it's super powerful. I use ClickFunnels for all of my landing and sales pages because it's the easiest thing to like make really good looking and high converting pages. But then for actually hosting the membership, I used to use WordPress with all kinds of crazy development to really make a really cool membership thing. For rapid scale, I just started using Thinkific, which is one of Kajabi's competitors, and I love it. Yeah, so it's Thinkific.
Okay, yeah, I actually use Kajabi for Bulldog Mindset membership.
Good.
I have mixed thoughts on it, right? It's like I feel like it does a lot of things, but it doesn't do anything really, really well. And that's the problem.
There you go. Right. So, I mean, I think, using the most important thing is conversion and measuring the data. So that's why I'm a huge ClickFunnels fan, because you don't have to be a developer to be able to make really high converting pages. And then if Kajabi or Thinkific are the best tool of choice to make it easy to deliver the course or membership, and then that's great.
Yeah. The problems I've run into is it's like, because I end up using Kajabi for just the membership part.
Right.
But then in the cart, but then it's like for my email list, I'm not going to use Kajabi. I use ActiveCampaign, right? Because I want to have workflows and stuff like that. More
exactly. I use Active too.
And then the problem I have right now with my cart being in Kajabi is that I only have one upsell. So I can't do multiple upsells and downsells, ClickFunnels or even like DriveCart or something like that. So it doesn't end up getting me. So it ends up just being a membership, which, something like Teachable or Podia could do as well.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. But let me see if there's any other ones in here that we want to address. I think we hit most of the this one just came in. Avashan says, I want to get into web development business. Is it still viable?
Yeah. Everything is viable because there's still a pain point, right? So like people are still going to need developers, whether it's for a website or software or whatever. So, it's just like the wedding photography thing. I got into something that wasn't a revolutionary idea. I wasn't the first one. But if you can just focus on being more competitive for getting started, and are you, the question is really, is it still viable? The question is really, are you willing to put in the work to become an awesome option?
Right.
Like, are you going to hustle to go get your first clients, and then are you going to kick ass for them, so then they go tell their friends, and so on and so on and so on?
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here. So guys, make sure you check out, where's the best place to find you? Should they go to rapid scale?
Yeah, rapidscalesystem.com for sure. And I appreciate everyone's time.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Cole. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
All right.